Hi everyone, let's solve today's daily challenge, that is linked list random node. So in this question, we are given a single linked list and we need to return a random node's value from the linked list. So each node must have the same probability of being chosen. And here we need to implement the solution class. So solution class has two functions, that is solution and int get random. Right. So what the solution function does? It is the constructor, that is it initializes the object with the head of the singly linked list. And what getRandom does is it chooses a node randomly from the list and returns its values, right? And all of the nodes of this list should be equally likely to be chosen, right? So what do we mean by that? So basically, you can say here some queries are given to us. This is the input, right? Now we are saying that we are calling this getRandom function 5 times. What we have to do is each time the getRandom function is called, we have to return a random node, right? For example, in this linked list, how many nodes we have? 3 nodes, right? So when get random function is called, right? So we should have three choices, right? So the probability of choosing, okay, so let's discuss the probability of choosing. So here we have 3 nodes, right? So if I want to choose one, what is the probability of choosing one? Because we have three choices and we need to select one node, that is one, right? So it will be 1 by 3, right? Similarly, for choosing 2 and 3, it will be 1 by 3 and 1 by 3 for each, right? So that is what random selection is, right? So there is a probability of choosing these elements and you can return any of the elements, right? So if you will, try to come up with a pattern or something like that, okay, let's say we make some kind of a pattern and we return values according to that, right? So let's say you will, try to come up with something like, let's say this is the list given to us. Wait, we have 1, 2, and 3, right? So this is given to us. Now what you will say, you will try to come up with a pattern, right? Because we want to return a random node. So you will say, let's say we take all these nodes and we try to arrange them in some kind of an order, and each time the random function is called, we store these values of the nodes inside of a vector or an array, and we return any one of these, right? So this will give you a wrong answer. Why? Because this is not random, you have created a pattern or something like that, right? So you took all the nodes and you created a pattern. So each time if you try to return for the first index or the second index of the array or the third index of the array, what will happen is it is fixed that if the index is 1, 2 will be returned. If the index is 2, 1 will be returned. If the index is 3, 3 will be returned, right? So it is fixed, it is not random, right? So to randomize this, what we can do is we can have like to generate random functions, we have inbuilt functions called rand in C++, and there will be some mat.random in Java there is, right? So in each language we have a random function which helps us generate a random value. Now this function does what? It returns a random integer, right? So that integer can be within some range, right? I don't remember what is the range, but it will be something 10 to the power some range, right? So we will be getting some values within this limit, right? So that is what this rand function will do. So you can say, okay, so what we'll do, we will take all the values from this linked list and we will store them inside of a vector or an array, and we will, try to access a random index. So if you are trying to access a random index, then definitely you will be getting a random number. So yeah, that is correct. You can solve this question in that way also. But what this will do is you will be taking an extra space of O of n, right? So we will discuss in this question a solution in which we will not be utilizing an extra space, right? So let's see for that. This is a valid approach to solve this problem. You can solve using this, but we will be discussing an approach in which we will not be, utilizing an extra space. Now, what we are trying to basically do is return a, randomized node by using what? Rand function. So if I say that if we want to, return a random node, what we can do is we can create, we can get a number from this random, and we can iterate inside of the linked list and get the value at this particular random number index in the linked list, right? So can we do that? Yes, we can do that. So what we'll do, first of all, we need to know that this function will return any number, and obviously our linked list will be of some size, right? So it is not possible that the linked list is always of the size of the range of rand. So to get numbers within the the bounds of the linked list size, what we will do is we will just divide it by the length of the linked list, right? Modulo len will return you any number between 0 to len minus 1, right? In this range, we will be receiving our number. So it is a valid range, right? We can access all the nodes within this particular range inside of the linked list. So that is what we will be doing. First of all, what we have to do is we have to calculate the length of the linked list. And inside of int random function, what we have to do, we will generate a random number and we will calculate rand modulo the length of the linked list, and we will traverse in the linked list and return the node, the value of the node at that particular index. Right. So I hope you have got a little bit. Right. So let's come here and let's code it out. Okay. So I've already written the code here. So let's discuss here only. I guess you have already seen the code when I discuss the question. Okay, so what we are doing is first we are taking the length, and then we have taken this edge node. Inside of this, what we'll be doing is we'll be initializing this with the head of this linked list, right? So we'll be getting like when we'll be calling this class, we'll be making an object, and in that object, what we'll do, we will pass the head of a linked list, right? So inside of this whole class, we need to access this particular head. So what we'll do is we will create a node here, and we will put the value of the head that we have got from the object inside of this h variable here, right? So this h will contain the head of the node, and now we can use this h anywhere inside of this class, right? So now what we will do here, only we will calculate the length of the linked list. So how do we calculate the length of the linked list? We simply have taken this temporary node, and we are iterating this temporary node, and until we don't reach null, we are calculating the length, right? So what we'll do, we'll go from 1 to 2, 2 to 3, and then from 3 to where will we reach? Null, right? So len will contain by the end of this iteration the length of the linked list. Now after we are done with initializing everything, we will come inside of the int random function, and we will write the logic for the randomization that we will do. So what we discussed, we will simply generate a random number. So how will we get it? We will get it using the rand function, and what we'll do, will modulo it by the length of the linked list. Why? Because this rand function generates random numbers within a range, right? And that range can be, it can give us a number which will be inaccessible from the linked list, because our linked list can be smaller in size also, right? So what we'll do, to ensure that we are in bounds of the size of the linked list, we will modulo it by len, right? So after we do that, we have basically generated a random number between 0 to len minus 1. So we can treat this as an index, right? Then what we'll do, we will have this random here, random node, and we will again initialize it with h. So why we are using it? This is the index, right? Sorry, this is the index of the linked list of the node that we want to get, and we will be getting it inside of this random node. So what we will do, we will say while this number is not 0. So we are basically iterating inside of the linked list, and we are accessing the node at this particular index. So we will access here, right? And we will simply return the value of this node. So that is all you have to do in this question. So it will take O of n, and the space that we are utilizing is constant. So we are just taking some variables. We are not using any extra space here. So that is how we have to solve this question.